Hey everybody, I thought I'd do another video today on the same day, which is day is it today, the 9th or holy shit, the 11th. I keep track of time. Because I've been hunkering down in my apartment for 5 days because yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna do my impression. Actually, I haven't been hunkering down, so just lost track of the days. But this video is about John Schaffer of the band Iced Earth and his recent being wanted by the FBI for the incident at the White House. So I was going to tell you about my history with Iced Earth and John Schaffer because I find it really interesting to tell this story. I got into Iced Earth in like the late '90s, like I did a lot of other bands, like these guys, and Blind Guardian stuff. And I quite liked. I didn't like the Dark Saga at first, but I slowly got into it, and then I got into. They did that remake of Night of the Storm Rider with Matt Barlow, and I forgot what that was called. But they did, some albums I liked, and I started to get into them. Then I formed a band, and we played. Was it Violate? No, or I Died for You. We played a couple of Iced Earth songs for a while. It was kind of funny. Um, so I started getting more into them, especially something Wicked later on. And what was my favorite one? I think uh, Burnt Offerings is probably the peak for me. I also like Something Wicked. Live in Athens is a really good live album. Live albums aren't always better than the studio albums. In fact, I'm probably going to listen to that tonight. It's kind of funny. So I got into them, and I knew that there was. It was interesting, seeing their rise in the metal world, especially in the late '90s. So come about the year 2002, where I went to Prague Power, the third installment, where Iced Earth nor Demons and Wizards were not playing. I mean, they or neither Demons or Wizards or Iced Earth were playing, but John Schaefer, for whatever reason, decided to go and do an autograph session, and I went to get his autograph, and I think it's somewhere, I don't know, somewhere in my house. And I told him I was doing a cover. We're playing a cover. And he's just like, didn't like really give a fuck. And was just like, okay, it was kind of funny. I've met, it's celebrities. It always depends on the mood. A similar dismissive person was Ice-T when I met him, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. I'm not like offended by Ice-T being like, oh yeah, whatever. Oh, that's nice. Like not giving a fuck when you meet someone. On the contrary, like Dream Theater, when I met him, were like the nicest guys and hilarious, especially Mike Portnoy. So I don't know, you win some, you lose some when you're meeting people that are famous. It doesn't really matter that much. So, anyways, what was interesting though is that I wasn't at this after party at Prague Power, but I was told about it secondhand by several people that John Schaefer, I think he was probably there, hanging out with the guys from Blind Guardian, and I think he lived in Florida at the time, and it was Atlanta, Georgia. So probably, he probably drove up to meet up with the guys from Blind Guardian because he was friendly with those guys. But at one of these after parties at Prague Power, I guess he would just rail on and on about how he loved Fox News and liberals and all this stuff, and he got drunk or something. I don't know. I just heard this secondhand. I wish I was there in the room, but it would have been hilarious. So that was interesting. So, you know, and the next year, or was it the next year, The Glorious Burden came out and had the Where the Eagle Cries and all this 9/11 nonsense fucking propaganda that he got sucked into at the time. John Schaefer, and so patriotic, and oh, you love America, it's just it was really annoying. Glorious Burden is not a bad album, but obviously I was offended by that because at the time I was just like, man, there is something up with this shit. They're trying to like rally people together to do these wars and stuff for all these nefarious reasons. So I was kind of offended and kind of pissed. I didn't like disown Iced Earth. Actually, I saw Iced Earth live with a friend of during that tour. And we saw I think Children of Bodom ironically opened up, and I haven't really done a video about that, but I think Children of Bodom, underrated band. Alexei Laiho is underrated, great guitarist, and rest in peace. Recently died, so very young too. So anyways, I never got to see Children of Bodom like really play a really big show or anything. There's certain bands that I really would have loved to see like a full on show. They were only opening acts in the past, like, and because they didn't do huge tours in the U.S. and Children of Bodom were one of them, and another one is Arsis, by the way. I wish they would do a headlining tour. So, anyways, that's a totally different subject. So it was actually a really good show. Ralph Santoya was like playing guitar. Another guy who's left this world, who was a great guitarist, played that, and so I thought it was a pretty good show. I'm not a Ripper fan as much as Matt Barlow or even Stu Block, but it was interesting. So I just I hated his opinions about 9/11 and the war in Iraq and stuff at the time. So it turns out something happened, and I don't know. It's ironic because a lot of times people would, as time went on, some people kind of turned into like more critical of the Bush administration and more critical of what happened with 9/11. And I kind of helped that along sometimes because I would like write a lot on Blabbermouth about this stuff. And I'm not like correlating these two in any way, by the way. But it just like more and more people started questioning things. So then he made a turn for the more libertarian / Alex Jones thing. Oh shit, what was that? I'm not gonna. I think that's just a package. Scared the shit out of me. So that's what happened with. Oh man, damn, that was scary. It was just a package that I got from an evil corporation that I should not be supporting. You can probably guess what that is. So it was interesting because he started to get into more like right wing conspiracy kind of stuff, and I think that correlated to like it sounds kind of weird, but like the Something Wicked saga. I think like him writing that and like comics and like reading these books about conspiracies and stuff like kind of got him on that route, and I could see that happening as the albums went on. And so at a certain point he was like totally red pilled into the conspiracy thing. And I was like, well, it is better than being a fucking Republican right wing Fox News guy. That's what I thought at the time. Like, may not agree with everything that they say, but I was like, this is cool. It's better than that. Ron Paul kind of thing. Buy a lot of silver and gold, and fucking survival food and whatever. Or diamond gusset jeans, which I bought at one point because I was kind of being sucked into that same thing. So the they came out with that Sons of Liberty thing. It was interesting. I don't know. It was okay. I don't think I listened to much of it, but and it came out with these albums, and some of them were good, some of them were not. I liked Dystopia, and I liked. By the way, I think Dave Mustaine might have taken that title from John Schaffer. I know they toured with Iced Earth, and he had some similar beliefs. Dave Mustaine's a little bit more establishment Republican than John Schaffer was, or is, or whatever. So, it. And I don't, I liked some of the latter day Iced Earth albums, like with the new singer. I thought they got a little better. Like they were kind of stagnating for a while after Ripper left. I thought even with Matt Barlow back, it was kind of like, eh. But like Dystopia, and I think there was another album I liked by Iced Earth after that, Incorruptible. I think that was it. So it was kind of funny because like he would do these interviews and talk about this stuff, and then with this current thing that's going on, which I'm not gonna because I've talked the C thing. Some videos I want to say it, and some videos I don't. He totally was on board with the conspiracy stuff, but the interviews he did made me think he wasn't really a Trump guy. He was just more of like he questioned both parties. I mean, and I saw an interview today at the actual rally where he was like, well, he was kind of, he did seem pro Trump in that interview. I mean, as far as the scale, as far as being pro Trump, I don't think he's off the charts, like in love with Trump, but he's like kind of sees him as like this populist that was unfairly cheated by the media and all this stuff. Um, he's not completely off the charts in the QAnon territory, I don't think, but you know, he's definitely out there. I'll just say that, you know, pointing to the right, you know. So, but then, you know, we find out now he's wanted by the FBI for the Capitol protests. Just like, holy shit, you know, it's very interesting. Just that trajectory that we saw with someone like that. It's pretty fascinating from a sociological point of view, or you know, a social political point of view. So, I mean, I don't. I think the mistake was being a Trump person and holding him up as this like savior and stuff, and not questioning the agendas that that side pushed as well. I think you got to question it all. So it's sad that he was sucked into some of that, if he was, which I still don't believe he was totally on board with all that, but well, I guess he was, you know, if you look at the protests. So I think you just got to question them all. You know, in fact, without saying too much, it's like you could argue hypothetically that it was misguided because it was all about Trump and it wasn't about just smashing the whole system, which, because it's all corrupt, Trump included, in his, you know, litany of swamp criminals that he hired. I mean, like, watch any there was a good James Corbett video about that, you know, Donald Trump swamp or something like that, where he talks about all the people that he hired on that were total financial, you know, double dealers and criminals, and you know, so Donald Trump was no savior against the establishment